I'm going to go back to the beginning of the song and think about this E minor D G. Notice at the very beginning, you've got just the guitar playing and there's no bass playing. Okay, but the chords are the same. I just wanted to point out when the bass started, it was a little easier to hear the bass line. So I'm hitting play and then I'm zooming because I went out too far. Listen to the bass line move up and down in the way that the E minor and D and G are having it go.
The way it slides.
So if I'm writing a chart, intro, repeat, so vocal, verse is the same thing. See how long a verse is. Okay. Now, so we just determined that a verse is 6 of these long, and I started counting on the second verse. Okay? So we could say play 6 times. And then I could say it again, maybe, verse 2, and just write the exact same thing and say play 6 times. And that would get us to where we are. Right? Oh, I need to put the dots, sorry. Does that kind of make sense with me writing that real quick? And now, everything changes at this point in the song. So I want to zoom out so we can see where we ended up. Here we are at about 1:15, somewhere in here. So right there is the first time we really hear a new chord happen separate from this E minor, D, and G. Something new is taking place. So I'm going to zoom in. Everybody heard that the chords didn't change up until that point, right? It's the same chords over and over. Yes, sir.
Was I noticing that it went, instead of going, I felt like I was hearing E minor, D, and then going up to G, but then I felt like I heard E minor, D going down to G.
Gotcha. And it's almost, okay, the question that Grant is saying is it felt like he was hearing it go E minor, D, up to G, and then E minor, D, down to G. Now, I don't remember that as far as me hearing it even just now or when we recorded, but it's very possible that the bass player did that. If that's really important to the songwriter, he should write it in. But I don't think it was to Jeremy, so that would have been one of those artistic interpretation things.
If it was recorded like that, or is that just an artistic thing that that person could have done?
That bass player may have chosen to do that.
Okay.
And actually, I wouldn't have noticed it if you hadn't said it. Or it may not have actually done it, and you just kind of heard that way. You heard the higher G with one of the guitars and the lower G with the bass or something like that. But unless it's really important that you go E, D, G, E, D, G, if that's super important, then you notate it. Most guys would they might even tell the bass player in the moment, but if somebody else plays the song, it's not as big a deal. It's not as intrinsic to the composition, you know, it's just sort of an interpretation. I think I'm a couple of chords ahead from where it changes. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, I think it changes right here. Maybe right here. Okay, so that right there is a new chord. So we've been going E, D, G, E minor, D, G, and now there's this new chord. Now what is that new chord going to be? Okay. Hear that bass note? So it's been going E, D, G, E, D, G.
Something changed.
You're heading there, okay? Now, remember when we went back and we just had it loop over and over? See if I... And we went and found it. Do you hear the bass note? Do you hear the bass note? It's this one. Where is it? Oh, there it is. That sound right. Okay, so if it went E minor D, G, no, E minor D. Here's the new one right here. We went from here to here. What is that distance right here? Yeah. Major second. Here's a half step, whole step, half step, whole step. What's a whole step below G? F is the right answer.
Finally, I got one
Okay.
right.
So now we've got this new section that we'll call the bridge or the chorus. I can't remember what I put in the chart. So that's an F, and it goes, how long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it changes. So there's 8 beats. 4 here, 4 here. And there's going to be something new after it. I'm going to actually start on that spot and then just let it play out for a second so you can hear the whole section. I'll give you a hint, it goes back. Now, I'll put this dash. The dash is not a symbol. The dash is a placeholder for a letter that's coming up. I didn't want to confuse anybody. Like, yeah, exactly. No, I just put the dash of, there's a chord happening there. I'm going to just play it on the piano because I know the song. And so here's F. How can I stand silent? So that's the chord. Went from here down to here. How can I stand silent? Any ideas? F2.
It sounded like a whole E minor. Did we go back to E minor?
No, sir, but I appreciate you being audacious with your guess. Be bold, brother. If you're wrong, be wrong. Serious. Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ee, oh, ee, oh, ee, oh, oh. How can I stand silent? Okay, we didn't actually test if it was major or minor, but everybody just assumed F is major. Okay, is this second chord major or minor? How can I stand silent? That's major. Okay, so we know it's major. He said it's a C, and he's correct. Okay, so this one is a C, and then it gets really fun. I love this. How can I stand silent? And here's the third chord coming. Okay, so there's 4 chords that he repeats.
Yes.
F.
Because A minor is usually frets with F and C.
But then, now I'll point out, here's our first one. How can I stand size F and C? And if I went back up to F, it'd be here. But I don't go quite all the way up to F, I go up to something not quite as high up. She guesses E, that's a good guess. F down to C, goes up to here. Doesn't go quite as high. F down to C, but then there's something in the middle. F, C. He guesses D minor, she guesses E. Okay, it's actually in the middle. It's E flat. And is it major or minor? How can I stand silent? This chord right here. How can I not? Is that major or minor?
Major.
Major's the right answer. And it was E flat.
Because it's the 7th of F. That's why it works.
It is the 7 of F.
Is that why it works?
Not necessarily. And I'll totally unpack it if you'll. I want to come back to. I'm going to put a pin in what you just said. When I finish the 4th chord, talk to me about it. Okay. So it goes F C. Now listen for a second. Listen to the relationship between this one and this one. It went down a 4th. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's about to do the exact same motion. It's going to go here and go down a 4th. But I want you to hear it. Hear this go down to here, And now this is a whole different chord, but here it's going to go down the same distance. So here's the F. How can I stand silent? E flat. How can I not move with you? You hear the fourth movement? Here's F to C, E flat to the 4th below, which is a B flat. Right? Okay?
I love the sound of it.
And then he actually repeats it again. Here, let's see if it'll go. Jesus, have mercy. And then he actually does it again. Different chord there. Different chord there. It's not B flat. So this is like a first ending, and then he's going to have a second ending with a different chord.